So, are you guys ready? Yeah? The first one to go will be Ayla. Hey.
Hello everyone, my name is Ayla. Today I will talk about my book. The title of my book is Timing Opal. The author is Holyobi. The character are Opal, Puddle, and Tutu. They're cute pigs and they're good friends. Now I will tell you what happened in the story. Opal with her cousin. Toot and Puddle, they play outside and smell flowers and have a cookout. The next day, Opal says, my tooth is wobbly. When she goes swimming, her tooth falls and she lost it. They search everywhere but can't find it. She feels sad, but her friend helped her find it again. She feels sad and now she puts her tooth under her pillow. The next morning she found a shiny coin. She smiled and said, the tooth fairy came. It was a happy story about about love and friendship. Do you have a friend who helped you? I learned that friends can help when we feel sad. I want to help my friend and family too. Thank you for listening.
Right. Wasn't it so cute, guys? Aww, thank you, Ayla. So, what was the lesson that she learned from her story? Who listened? Good job. So, next stop will be from G to Aiden.
Hello everyone, I'm Aiden. Today I want to tell you about my favorite books. The title is The Little Prince and it was written by Anton Sandberry. The main characters are the little prince, his rose, the fox, and the pilot. He also meets grown-ups during his journey, a king, a businessman, and a geographer. Setting. The story takes place on many small planets, later on Earth in the desert. Each place teaches the little prince something about life and love. Problem. The problem is that the little prince feels lonely. He loves his rose, but he doesn't really understand her. So he decides to travel to other planet to learn the meaning of life, love, and friendship. Beginning 1. The little prince lives on a small planet with his rose. Every day he gives her water and protects her from the wind. But the rose keeps saying, "You don't love me enough." The little prince loves her, but her words make him sad. So he sits by the window looking at the stars and feeling lonely. Beginning 2. He decides to travel to other planets. He wants to see what kind of people live in the world. On the first planet, he meets a king who said, "Everyone is my servant." On the second, a businessman said, "All the stars belong to me." On third, the geographer said, "I know everything, but I never go anywhere." The little prince thinks these people are busy, but they don't really understand what's really important. Middle 1. The little prince met Fox on Earth. The fox said, "Please tempt me." That meant they could become special friends. They met every day and became close. The fox taught him love means spending time and caring. When the little prince have to leave, the fox said, "What is important is invisible to the eye." The little prince never forgot that. On the desert, the little prince met a pilot. The pilot's plane was broken. The boy said, "Please draw me a ship." The pilot drew a snake that ate an elephant. Grown-ups never understood that picture, but the little prince did right away. They became good friends. The pilot learned that love and friendship are more important than anything you can see. Final one. The little prince thought about his rose. He said, "There are many flowers, but my rose is special because I took care of her and loved her." Now he understood the fox's word. Love means giving your heart. She was special because she was his. Final two. The little prince said goodbye to the pilot. He had to go back to his rose. That night, a golden snake said, "I can help you go home." It beat him softly and he felt like he was sleeping. The next morning he was gone. He returned to his planet. The pilot looked at the sky and smiled. He remembered. Love and friendship are live forever in our heart. Lessons we learned. I learned that true love and friendship are invisible to the eye. They grow through time, care, and friendship, like the little prince and the fox. I want to be someone who listens, cares, and treasures my friends, especially my G2 fans. Thank you.
Next up will be from G3. Eunju.
Hello, my name is Eunju. I'm gonna introduce Fishing in the Rain, and the author of the book is Laura Ramjesnitz. The character of the book is Luminous, Spiraler, Fluffy Ear and Fluffy Tail, and their grandfather, Grandpa Grizzly. The story begins like the hoppers and 1 week left before school began. Today they go camping with Grandpa Grizzly, but it rained and rained. Then the hopper was sad that they couldn't go camping today. But Grandpa Grizzly said when it rains, fish always bites. Then Hopper started to go. When they arrived, Grandpa Grizzly said they have to be quiet until the fish bites. But one of them sneezed and one of them coughed. The fish might all swim away. Then Grandpa Grizzly said we have to go inside the tent. Then you get cold. But Dominos wanted more fish, so Grandpa Grizzly gave one more time to catch fish. But Dominos got so close that she fell into the lake. Then Grandpa Grizzly get the Dominos out of the water and second time to get the Dominos pulled. Last, then Dominos caught the big fish that the hopper didn't see that big fish. Dominos and all of the hoppers pulled and have a big fish dinner in the tent. And Grandpa Grizzly is the one who caught the cold. My lesson is when Grandpa Grizzly doesn't have Domino out of the water, then Domino will catch cold and couldn't eat fish dinner. Instead, Grandpa Grizzly caught the cold. Grandpa Grizzly loved hoppers. I thought I wanted to be a person who helps people and love like Grandpa Grizzly. Thank you for your attention.
G1 David.
Hello everybody, today I will tell about the book I Want My Hat Back. It is written by John Classland. The main character is Big Brown Bear. Other animals are rabbit, fox, turtle, and squirrel. The story happened in the forest. The animals all live in the forest. The bear lost his red hat. He looked for everywhere but cannot find it. First, the bear asked many animals, "Have you seen my hat?" Other animals said, "No." The rabbit is wearing the red hat, but rabbit lied and said, "I have not seen your hat." The bear keeps asking other animals. He still cannot find his red hat. Suddenly, the bear remembered the rabbit is wearing his hat. He ran back to the rabbit. The bear got his red hat. He's happy again. My favorite part is when the bear found his red hat. We should not steal things from others. We should not tell lies. It is important to be honest and kind. Thank you for listening.
G2 Scarlett.
Hello everyone. Today I will introduce you to a book called Roscoe Riley Rules Never Glue Your Friends
to Cheers by Catherine Applegate. The main character is Roscoe Riley. He is just a normal, everyday kid who sometimes gets into trouble. His favorite food is blue M&Ms. His favorite sport is bed jumping. His favorite color is rainbow, and his most not favorite thing is lemmings. The main setting of the story is Roscoe's school, especially his classroom. It is the day of the open house at a school. Some parts of the story also happens at Roscoe's house in the morning with his family. Problem. It was the open house at Roscoe's school. Roscoe Riley tried to help out his teacher but got into trouble. Because he used the grown-ups glue, his mom calls "Don't you dare glue." He didn't know what would happen if we glue people to chairs. Beginning. Welcome to the official Roscoe Riley Timeout Corner. Have you ever used Super Mega Gonzo glue? Never? Roscoe learned it is for gluing things, not people. When the level says permanent, they mean permanent, as in forever and ever. It all started the morning of the open house. Roscoe needed to bring art supplies to school. His mom told him to bring art supplies from the junk drawer. Roscoe pulled out the bag of art supplies and saw something else in the drawer. A bottle of Super Mega Gonzo glue. His mom calls "Don't you dare glue." He picked up the glue and put it in the bag of art supplies. That's when all his trouble started. Middle. Roscoe's class was having a dress rehearsal. All the bees put on the head bubbles. The bubbles kept falling, so Miss Diz tried to fix them. Roscoe and his friend were playing sword fight on their chairs, and suddenly they froze because the principal was standing in the doorway. After this incident, the kindergarten teacher came. Miss Diz whispered something and said, "At this rate, I'll be looking for another job soon." They both laughed. Roscoe was sure it was a worried laugh. He hoped Miss Diz didn't change her job. It was time to get ready for the open house. Roscoe was too worried. He had a Super Mega Gonzo idea. He picked out one of the head bubbles and put a few drops of glue on it. He tried on his bubbles and wiggled his head. The bubbles stayed on. Perfect! He put a few drops of glue on all the other bubbles. Roscoe to the rescue. Some children were playing sword fight again. Roscoe thought they were going to have a hard time sitting. He had another Super Mega Gonzo idea. He put a few drops of glue on each drummer chair's seat. The bees lined up and the bee drummers sat down. When they were done, the parents cheered and clapped. Everything had gone perfectly. End. Everybody tried to pull off their head bubbles. Ouch! Everyone cried, shouted, yelled, and screamed. Their faces were kind of surprised, then mad, then really mad. Permanently. The drummers tried to get up too, but those chairs were stuck to their clothes permanently, as the glue label had promised. "Uh-oh," Roscoe said softly. His friend Gus heard it and asked him if he had done something. Miss Diz asked Roscoe to explain, and he started to answer. But just then, one of the girls squeezed and tripped right onto the dessert table. Roscoe watched his mom's pie float through the air, and it was heading straight for poor Miss Diz. He had to save his teacher. He leaped into the air, and that pie landed right in his face. Kids screamed, parents yelled, but Miss Diz was safe. Roscoe had to have a long talk with Miss Diz and his parents. When he explained to Miss Diz how he was trying to save her job, she gave him a big hug. She made him promise the next time he asked before he tried to save her, and to never ever touch the Don't You Dare glue again. She also said she loved her job. It was the whole story why Roscoe was in timeout. Actually, his parents were really proud of him for trying to help Miss Diz. They just didn't like that he took the Don't You Dare glue out. Roscoe is going to tell his parents how sorry he is when they come. But first, they'll have a big hug. That's the best part of timeout. Lesson we learned. Roscoe didn't want to hurt anyone. He just wanted to help his teacher, but his idea wasn't safe, so he made a big mess. I learned that even if I have a good idea, I should think carefully before I do something. When I was 5, it was Christmas Day. I wanted to help my parents prepare for Christmas. I accidentally broke a glass snowball. There was a rule that kids should stay away from breakable things, but I didn't follow it. Kids have to follow a lot of rules, just like Roscoe said. Sometimes we forget them, but rules are there to keep everyone safe and happy. We should also understand that there's a good reason for every rule. Thank you for listening.
All right, next up from G3, Irene.
Hi, my name is Irene Jo, and today I'm going to introduce a book called A Little Problem, author Karen Taylor. Characters. The characters are Helen, Joseph, and Ron. Setting. The settings are school and store. Problem. Helen was very tall for her age. Sometimes people think she is an adult and make her pay an adult prices. She wanted to be gymnast, but they are very short. Helen felt worried about her height. Beginning. Helen often felt sad because she was very tall for her age. One day, a new tall boy named Joseph came to her class. She felt happy to meet someone like her. They smiled at each other, and Helen wanted to be a good friend with Joseph. Middle. At lunch, Ron threw a basketball to tease Joseph, but it bounced back and hit Ron's forehead. Everyone laughed, and Ron looked silly, not Joseph. Later, in folk dance class, Helen and Ron were a partner. Even though they were different heights, they danced well together. Helen felt happy and not alone anymore. And one day, Helen met Joseph and his mom at the store. She felt shy buying an adult clothes, but Joseph smiled at her, so she felt better. She remembered how her long legs can help her do some gymnastic moves better. She realized her height was something to be proud of, not to hide. She started to feel proud of herself. Lesson we learned. I learned that everyone is different and special, and everyone has good points and also weak points. But if we try hard to improve our weak points, then it could also change into good points. Now I can be proud of myself. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hana.
Hello everyone, I'm Hana. Today I'm going to tell you about the book called Pico. The author is Stan Santat and the book was designed by David Cameron. Character. The main character is Pico. He is born in an island where imaginary friends were created. Character. The main character is Pico. He was born on an island where imaginary friends were created. Their imaginary friends waited eagerly to be picked, imagined by a real child. Every night he stood under the stars, hoping to be chosen by a real child and given a special name. Setting: the imaginary world and the real world. Problem: Pico was always waiting to be chosen, but his turn never came. So he did something unimaginable. He went on a journey to the real world. I'll tell you more about this soon. In the beginning, as I said, he was born on an imaginary island. He always waited eagerly to be picked by a real child and given a special name, but his turn never came. So instead of waiting, he decided to go on a journey to the real world to find a friend. In the middle. In the real world, he went to a restaurant, a subway, a playground, even to the top of the tree. He looked everywhere, but he still couldn't find his friend. He thought about how far he had come and how long he had waited and felt very sad. But then he finally met a friend, Alice. In the end, at first they weren't sure what to do because neither of them had been for friends before, but after a while they realized they were perfect together. Alice gave him a special name, Pico. After making a friend, the world began to feel better. And together they did the unimaginable, just like when Pico decided to go on his journey. The lesson I learned: we can learn three things from this book. First, be brave. Second, do the unimaginable. Third, never give up. Pico was brave. He did the unimaginable by going to the real world to find a friend, and he never gave up. He finally met a friend. So, do you want to be brave? Do you want to do something unimaginable? Do you want to never give up? Then read Pico. You can be like Pico too. Thank you for listening.
Yep, will be from G3. Ian!
Today, I am going to talk about the book called Phoebe G. Green, Lunch Will Never Be the Same. Author, Veera Hiranandani. Characters, Phoebe. Phoebe is a main character in the story. She is very curious and likes to try new food. Sage. Sage is Phoebe's best friend. He is Indian and in the same class with Phoebe. Camille. Camille is a new student from France. She brings fancy and weird lunches to school. Settings, school cafeteria. This is where Phoebe notices Camille's weird and fancy lunches and started to gain interest in Camille. Camille's dining room. Phoebe tried many different foods in Camille's dining room. Phoebe's backyard. This is where three friends gather and restore their friendship together. Problem. Phoebe becomes so interested in Camille and her lunches, which she started ignoring Sage, her old best friend. Beginning 1. Phoebe started third grade and she wasn't nervous because her older sister Molly had the same teacher and because her best friend Sage was in her class. Beginning 2. A new student named Camille arrives from France and brings fancy and weird lunches to school such as goat cheese, ducks, and green salad. Phoebe becomes curious about Camille. Middle 1. Phoebe becomes more interested in Camille and her food that she started ignoring Sage, which made him upset. Middle 2. Phoebe gets invited over to Camille's house for dinner. There, she tried duck for the first time and got lemon cake for dessert. She was excited but also felt guilty about leaving out Sage. Ending 1. Phoebe realizes that friendship is more important than trying new things such as being a foodie or trying fancy food. Ending 2. Phoebe apologizes to Sage and planned a picnic with both Sage and Camille over to restore their friendship. The lesson I learned is that we should be open to new things but keep a good care of old ones, especially our friends. Thank you for listening.
All right, thank you, Ian. That was a nice one. Okay, next up will be from G to Kano.
Hello, everybody. Today, I'm going to talk about Patch's Lucky Star, adapted by Anna Pink. First, I will tell you the characters. The main characters are Patch and Patch's mom and Patch's friend Diamond and Snapper and Diamond and Snapper's mom. Setting. It is a town. It is a little town. There is a pond in the town. Just a pond in the town. Problem. Patch is a pretty turtle. She has a shell. She has a patch on her shell. It is bright and it's yellow and it's a star shape. She doesn't like her patch because she don't want to be different from other friends. Other friends are all the same. They all have just a normal shell. Now, I'll tell you the story. Do you want to listen? Yes, sorry. Beginning 1. Patch is a pretty turtle. She lives by the pond. She is quiet. She hides every day in the shell. She doesn't like her shell. Other friends are not quiet. They are every day playing. Beginning 2. Every day Patch hides in her shell. One day her friends Simon and Snapper came to Patch. They called out, "Patch, Patch!" Patch was quiet. She hid in her shell. Middle 1. Diamond and Snapper said, "Let's explore the pond." But Patch stays in her shell. So Diamond and Snapper go away. Patch is very quiet. Middle 2. Later, Diamond and Snapper's mom knock on Patch's shell. "Patch, Patch!" Their mom said, but Patch was very quiet. and and Snapper and Diamond's mom said, "Please, Patch, I cannot find them." So Patch said, "They are in the pond." So the Diamond and Snapper's mom go to find them. And it started getting dark. But Snapper and Diamond was on the mountain, and Patch saw them. And the patch was so bright in the dark. So Snapper and Diamond came to Patch. And Patch was happy. Now she came out of her shell. She liked her patch. Their friends said it's good to follow Patch in the dark. Everything is same, but Patch is bright. Patch is so bright, so we can follow Patch. Patch was happy. Lesson I learned. Patch didn't like her shiny patch, but she was able to help others eventually. I learned that no matter I look like or what I don't like, it's important to love myself and live with confidence. Everybody, love yourself no matter what you look like or how you look different from other people. Thank you for listening.
Okay, G3, Yuna.
Hello, my name is Yuna Park, and I will talk about Fanny Case, the mad scientist, the invisible friend. I will talk about three important things from this book. The main characters are Fanny and three classmates. The setting is Daffodil Street, friends, school, and home. And the problem is that Fanny is getting attacked by the robot. The author is Jim Benson. So now I will talk about the story. The Stain family live in a beautiful house. It's back one room, Fanny's room. Fanny lived at the end of Daffodil Street. She was a mad scientist who invented funny and silly things like magic. She liked to do special things and nobody will like it. So it was why other people didn't like her. In the school, Miss Shelley, who was Fanny's class teacher, said that it is hobby day. Classmates had to bring things about their hobbies. Fanny's hobby was inventing special things, but it was so different from other people in her class, so she thought a lot about what to bring for hobby day with her helper dog, Eeyore. Next day, they started the hobby day. Classmates explained about their hobbies, and Fanny asked some silly questions, but nobody liked about the question. Fanny made a big robot for her hobby day, and she needed a helper to finish the robot. She showed it to her classmates and asked them for help, but they gasped and nobody tried to help her. So Fanny felt disappointed with the hobby day. Igor tried to make Fanny laugh, but she didn't laugh. Igor showed the invisible chameleon to her to laugh. She laughed and had an idea. Fanny made the invisible medicine and she gulped it down. She became invisible so nobody could see her. Fanny whispered to three classmates, "You have to see Fanny's robot." They saw the robot and made the robot more complex. In the night, the three classmates came again to the robot room, dressed like mad scientists, and changed the robot differently. Fanny was angry that they made a mess, but the robot became silly and it made a big mess at school library. Fanny tried to turn off the robot, but because three classmates changed the robot, ketchup came out on the robot. They saw that Fanny was getting attacked by the robot. They thought they should help her, so they broke the robot because the robot was hurting Fanny. Before, Fanny was sad and disappointed because nobody helped her, but later they worked with Fanny. Fanny was happy and also thankful to the three classmates. Fanny created another with the broken robot, but she remembered that one classmate knew how to make cookies well, called Billy. She asked if Billy could help. He kindly helped her with his ability. Franny knew about kindness from him. I learned that if we're together like Franny and her friends, we can success everything. Franny and 3 classmates broke the silly robot together and got a friendship. I recommend this book because after I read this book, I thought I could ask others if I have some problems. Also, I can help them too. I feel very interested with this book, that it is fun and it can also teach me. I saw Billy helping Franny kindly, so I thought I should help others by showing kindness. Before, I was not respectful to my friends, so they were not kind to me too. But after I read this book, it taught me that kindness is important. If we are kind to others, we can be respectful, so we can help each other, which means that we can work together. So I learned about friendship, teamwork, and kindness from this book. Thank you for listening.